The following video was an eerie submission that was found in the paranormal section of Reddit. A user with the name Navy Friend states that a family member of his found a strange apparition on one of their security cameras in their home one night. They always felt that the house was haunted, as they heard loud bangs in the midst of nights, and found that a lot of kitchen items were moved around by the morning. The noises, of course, are creepy enough. However, what can be seen in the back of the room is even more frightening. The family believes that this is the ghost which is causing all of this activity. It looks like somebody with a weird hat on. But unfortunately, that's all that we can see really, as the rest of the silhouette is way too illuminated due to the floor light. It remains a mystery what exactly could be the origin of this haunting. The next case was featured by the Dark Dimension. They state that a viewer of theirs with the name Jocelyn Leo had sent them a rather disturbing capture. Apparently, the woman was on the way to a wedding that evening, and they were stopping at a local grocery chain to pick up a few things. The store is close to a crossing where many fatal accidents had occurred over the past decades, and the woman decided to take a picture for her Facebook friends. While she was completely alone at the time, one of her Facebook friends pointed out that there seemed to be somebody sitting with her in that car. She was quite shocked, as once she increased the brightness of the image, there seemed to be a sinister-looking apparition sitting in the back of the car. Was it perhaps one of the lost souls that was involved in one of the many car accidents? But shortly after that, another video surfaced, from who is believed to be the woman's daughter. It was shared on their Instagram. The little girl also just wanted to take a video for her friends, but had to realize that once again, somebody else seemed to be sitting in the back of the car. Was it the same creepy spirit? This is certainly nightmarish and quite the traumatizing experience for sure. I would not be able to sleep in my own bed for a while. Next up, we are going to be looking into the haunting of Ola Peter. Peter and his brother had been spending some time at their great-grandparents' house when suddenly the power went out for no logical reasoning. Their mother and grandmother left briefly to go buy some candles at the gas station nearby, leaving the boys alone. Strange activity had been experienced in the house before, and it was believed by the family that there was at least one spirit inhabiting the home. Potentially the spirit of the great-grandfather that sadly had passed away. Peter decides to start filming around the dark house while his parents are away. The boys head to the terrace in the back of the house to use the washroom. And this is when they first encounter something possibly paranormal.
Y pues estamos aquí, estas son mi abuelito. Espérense, no sean chillones. No va a pasar nada. Y esas son las cenizas de mi bisabuelo, porque pues desgraciadamente él ya falleció. Y el baño está allá. El baño, mi hermano quiere hacer pipí, pero el baño está allá. Y mi abuela nos dijo que cuidáramos. Mi abuelo nos dijo que cuidáramos aquí su casa en lo que ellas iban.
A dark shadow is seen, moving quickly out of sight, as though it is hiding from the two boys. The next video was also filmed at Peter's great-grandparents' house. This time, the boys noticed some loud banging and strange noises coming from the roof of the house. And so, they went outside to try and capture whatever was responsible for all the noise. Let's take a look at what was captured.
Ay, no puede ser.
Loud banging and strange scratching noises can be heard from above Peter, and when he aims the camera to the right, a dark shadow can be seen moving across the roof. Could this be the same shadow figure seen in the first video?
No sabemos. Y pues no tengan miedo. No pasa nada. Abuelito, si estás aquí, preséntate. Si estás aquí, preséntate ante nosotros. Somos tus nietos.
Peter actually tries to interact with the entity, inviting it to present itself to him, but he may actually get more than he bargained for. Viewers have said that the energy in this video is very negative, and many do not believe this to be the great-grandfathers. They also believe this entity might be taking advantage of the fact that there were no adults present, as many demons have been known to connect first with children and using that to get to the adults in the family. But what do you think? Has Peter truly captured something paranormal in these videos? The following video was shared by Felimundo, and he tells us that he had captured it via Snapchat to share it with a bunch of his friends. Apparently, the young man was standing in front of his aunt's house in Gainesville, Florida, to smoke a cigarette at around 7 a.m. in the morning. He then noticed a strange reflection in the door right across from him. The interesting part about that, the neighboring house was still uninhabited after the owner had passed away a few weeks prior. Feli states that whatever was captured here wasn't fully visible to the human eye, and the creepy details only surfaced after rewatching the footage on the phone. A creepy face is staring at him from the upper part of the door window, and then it just vanishes into thin air. Feli even checked after that to make sure that it was no intruder, and he could find nothing. Do you believe that this could have been the former owner, perhaps? The young man also goes to say that this was not the only really weird incident on this piece of land. Only the first that he could capture on camera. Interesting. The The following clips were shared by user BV1150, who states that he as well is experiencing some really terrifying events unfolding in his own four walls. Ever since moving into his new place, he was visited by strange shadow sightings and was woken up in the midst of night by loud banging noises and furniture that was being pushed around. His friends never believed him, however, and they were certain that he was just joking around. In the following video, he had a friend over, and indeed, there seemed to be some unusual loud noises that were stemming from his closet, or from right above his closet, which was weird because nobody else should have been there.
Get up. Get up. Get up. You're here. Listen. Fucking touch that door. Oh, off the that Ouija board.
Nothing at first glance, but after BV decides to take a look around and opens the door to one of the rooms, there seemed to be something else with them. A really odd-looking shadow can be seen standing at the end of the room, and then it charges at them as if it wanted to hurt them. BV states that they could not sleep at his place that night, and that he has nightmares ever since. If it wasn't just a skit by the young man, has maybe something demonic entered? Something that is now playing tricks on him? Who can say? The following was a video that was sent by Thomas. It was recorded by a camera mounted in a man's car. He was on a nightly drive and received a call at the time. He decided to pull over and to answer the call. He seemingly was distracted at the time. His dashcam camera, however, recorded something sinister on the back seat. A really creepy face seems to be staring at the camera. Many commentators speculated that the man was riding along a haunted stretch of road that night. Could that be so? Has he gotten himself in some ghostly trouble here? Certainly a terrifying image, wouldn't you say? Who knows what that thing is? Jigglypuff666999 states that one night he noticed that something was off in his neighborhood. So apparently he was out with friends one night when he noticed a really odd humanoid figure bouncing around out in the open. Pretty weird. But he also captures this on a neighboring street. Is it an animal that got loose by any chance? Sounds pretty human though. On another night, he seems to notice the same noises stemming from a park. Then in front of his house, he captures the bouncing creature once more. Could it be a rake-related creature? Or just a friend of his? Let me know. The next clip was recorded by a driver one night who was on his way home and was taking a local highway. He didn't notice anything out of the ordinary up until this point, but when the incident occurred, he saw a dark flickering object just standing in the middle of the road. An object that had human-like features based on his reports, and it becomes quite apparent that even the other drivers saw it too. It is not that easy to make out, but you can actually see the outlines of a shadow person that just appears on the road, and the cars are doing their best to avoid impact, making them swivel quite a bit, especially the car on the left. What's weird is that the cars in front don't seem to react all that much. Maybe that's because this thing appears right after the cars in the front have passed it. The driver says that he did not see anything up until he was about to hit this thing, making him believe that it could have been an actual spirit that manifested. Could this be so? How else could anybody end up on the middle of the road like that? Strange. This was captured by a worker during a nightly shift. He was just moving some heavy machinery to a new construction site. He was by himself at the time and didn't see anything strange, but based on his reports, he heard a weird scream from the neighboring fields, which caused him to pull up the recording after his shift had ended. And he saw something quite unique. Some of his co-workers think that he might have captured a floating torso of a spirit, or maybe another form of creature. He was pretty baffled and had no explanation of what we are seeing here, especially since it just shows up for a few moments before it vanishes. Super weird. What do you think could have been captured here? How creepy. The following video was captured by a young driver who was on the way home. It was early in the evening and nothing seemed out of place at the time. He takes this road a lot and, based on his reports, there had never been any strange incidents taking place. Eventually he started speeding, and in his opinion, a guardian angel might have stepped in at this point in time. we see a person appearing in the middle of the road. Pretty scary, of course. The man notices him too late and tries to brake, and based on his reports, the car drove straight through him though, and no damage was done to the car, making him believe that this had to be a ghost. There was no trace of this person after the car came to a stop, and he stepped out to see if the mysterious person was okay. I mean, it's a bit weird how the car darkens up though, as if an impact actually had occurred. Pretty strange, isn't it? What do you think unfolded here exactly? Speaking of truly unsettling captures, the following was posted by Scariest, and in his opinion, it was the best capture he ever took in his life. It was captured in an abandoned house in Papudo, Chile, which is situated next to a friend's cabin on the beach. The house that appears outside of the window is part of the shed of the abandoned place. Scariest took a series of pictures, each of them showing another room of the house. On one of them, this thing came up. Was terrified and absolutely sure that no soul was outside in front of the window. So, is this just pareidoia? Or is it the face of a spirit that might have peeked at him through the window? Let me hear what you guys think. It's a pretty terrifying capture. Now we will be looking at a clip uploaded by LeBronWho422 from the United States. He writes, "Me and my friends were hanging out in my basement for the last night before moving. Kyle thought he found a mouse in the back room. After watching all our videos at the new house, this is what we came across." Well, let's see what the uploader captured in this basement.
Melissa, what are you doing?
Dude, come on, man. I just lost like 50 bucks in cards.
You can get over it.
I know. I'm gonna just have to.
What are you doing over there?
I think I found a mouse in here somewhere.
Are you serious?
Dude.
It's done. No worries. I can't find it.
Turn the lights on. Turn the lights on.
Dude, I'm not standing
Turn
with
the
a
lights
mouse.
Turn the lights on.
I'm not standing
I'll
with a
do
mouse.
it. I'll do
I
it.
can't see anything.
There's no mouse in here.
The video starts off normally, just a couple of friends hanging out and eating in the basement. However, things very quickly take a turn when LeBron pans to his friend in another section of the home. The friend Kyle believes that he spotted a mouse in the dark corner of the basement, but it seems as though he may have captured something even creepier. When Kyle bends down, a large face can be seen behind him. This creature seems to linger in the doorframe until they finally turn on the lights. No spirits can be seen, and no mouse either. The eerie part of this clip is the way nobody seems to notice the quiet entity until much later when reviewing the footage. Is there a reasonable explanation for this video? Or is this definitely a shadow figure sighting, as the men believe? What is your opinion on this? Nikisha McDonald has shared the following creepy incident on her profile. The young woman tells us that she was alone at home that evening and that she simply was posing for a TikTok video. Afterwards, she saw something quite terrifying in the back of her apartment. Let's see.
Okay, so I put it on. But yeah, I always feel amazing when I have red lipstick on. I don't know why. I don't know why.
Nikisha was quite lost for words when there seemed to be another woman sitting in the back on the couch. Just moments prior, the couch was empty. But now there was a stranger sitting. Terrifying, if we believe her, and she was indeed alone at home. Could it have been an intruder that snuck in through the balcony door, perhaps? Whoever this is looks pretty human to me, so I'm not sure if I'd say this was a paranormal event, but maybe I'm wrong. In the end, we cannot fully say what transpired in here, but it certainly is unsettling, whoever we're seeing back there. Next we are looking at a video that was sent by Thomas. Apparently he had found it on a channel called Shimmy Jim Hog. It features a young man who was hearing mysterious noises from the sewer near his house. This night he wanted to see where the noises actually came from.
You can probably hear it in the background right now.
Granted, the premise of this sounds like straight out of a horror movie.
Coming up on the tunnel right now.
And maybe it is.
I'm hearing the noises inside the tunnel.
As the man approaches the tunnel, we can hear a creature in the far.
I really just want to make contact with this creature.
This apparently was not enough to keep the man at bay, and he ventures deeper into the tunnel systems, which apparently were still in use. The closer he comes to the creature, the more it makes its presence known. I'm sure many of us are familiar with these sounds. They are pretty similar to the rake. Now let's look at that again. Certainly looks like the rake, doesn't it? Even if it is a setup, it's an entertaining clip in my opinion.